Okay, hi guys. So we have made it up to Tuesday, May 8th, and still going strong with Stitch Mania at this point. There were a million other things I should have been doing, but I was either getting up early and stitching right as soon as I got my work done, or going to bed late and stitching late at night. And I did a little bit of both of those. In general, I only had about 30 to 45 minutes a day to stitch, maybe an hour a couple of the days. And if I took longer than that, it was really time I should not have taken away from getting other things done for graduation. However, you know how that goes. I really think that we were talking about this yesterday, and we kind of have several friends who are older than us and have already graduated their youngest. And we have several friends who are younger than us and whose youngest graduated with our kids. And so we kind of, have been on both sides of that. And it's interesting to talk to people who were graduating their oldest, and kind of the stress level and the worry and the anxiety over graduation, and how it's all going to go and how the party's going to go and how to plan everything. And this was our third, and I have to say it was probably the most elaborate party that we put on for graduation for a variety of reasons. But it was the least stressful, and I'm sure a lot of that had to do with the fact that it was our third time, but I think it also had to do with the fact that I let myself have some time to stitch, and I knew in my heart of hearts that everything was going to get done for graduation one way or the other, and that Maddie was going to walk down that aisle and she was going to get graduated, and that was going to happen. And so if we didn't get every last detail of the party done, that was okay. Nobody probably was going to know except for us. And we had tons of help at her party. Lots of friends stepped in and just, did so much and helped out so much. But anyway, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was just pretty relaxed about it, and I let myself have some stitching time. And that made all the difference in the world in terms of my stress level, which then I think helped everyone else keep their stress level down. So another switcheroonie, and I don't remember what I had originally planned for the 8th day of Stitch Mania, but I switched that out for Blessed Bees. This is, excuse me, this is a Brenda Gervais pattern, which I absolutely loved. And kitted this up using all of the fancy floss, and got that much done. One row done on this. So that was on the 8th, which is the day after we painted, and I think I had laundry to do that day, and finishing up, putting, hanging, pictures back up in the kitchen, and kind of all the little detail stuff that you do. So that was all I did, but I did do a row of the house. So yeah, I was happy, just happy to get a couple stitches in. That was fine. Okay, the 9th, which was a Wednesday, and I wanted to do something for Witchy Wednesday, so the 9th became Witchy Washi. This is a Raise the Roof pattern that I absolutely love. So now I have the Santa's washing, and I also have the Pilgrim's washing, or the Turkey washi, or I forget which each of them are called, but I think the spring one is Peter Cottontail washing. And I hadn't started any of those, and so this is my first washi pattern to start. And this is a great pattern. Oh, and it's so funny, the typical Raise the Roof little design, and at the bottom it says, "Have you ever cross-stitched a bra?" Well, I have to tell you, as much as I enjoyed every single stitch that I put in throughout Stitch Mania, this was one that I was really struggling to put down, and I may have carried the 9th into the 10th and worked on this a little bit on the 2nd day or the next day as well, but I cross-stitched a bra. So that's the beginning of Witchy Washi, the Witch's bra, and then these are the 2 stockings. And I had to stop here because I realized I forgot to pick up the orange that it called for. It called for Weeks Dye Works Carrot, and I went into Reflections last week to get something else, and I said, okay, I need I need carrot. I asked Julie, I said, I need carrot. And she said, well, Weeks has a carrot, and Simply Shaker has a carrot, or Gentle Arts, and which one do you need? And I wasn't sure, I didn't have the chart with me, so I got both of them, and they look like this. So this is the Weeks, this is the Gentle Arts. Let's turn this around. And I think that I'm actually not going to use the Weeks. I think I'm going to use the Gentle Art one because it's a little brighter. And this chart has, I mean, look at this Weeks Ultraviolet. Look at how bright that is. So I think that's actually going to look better. Yeah, I like that better than the Weeks, which is still a beautiful color, but it's a little bit more subtle. So I don't know. I may work on this tomorrow for Witchy Wednesday. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to work on tomorrow for Witchy Wednesday. Those are cute patterns. Those are adorable. People's cleverness and pattern making, it just always astounds me. Okay, let's see. Thursday the 10th was another Switcheroonie. This was a chart that was on sale at Jen's Stitching Niche, and I've talked about Jen before. If you haven't checked her out on Etsy, please check her out. She has a great store on Etsy, wonderful charts, and she had this on sale. This is another Shakespeare's Peddler chart, and I've always loved Alice in Wonderland. Always been particularly fond of both the Rabbit and the Queen of Hearts. And this is a Queen of Hearts, but it's a kitchen. So it's the Queen of Hearts. She made some tarts all in a summer's day. And it looks like this. And I thought that was a really clever and sweet sampler with sort of faded soft colors. And I love that. And I thought, oh, that will look so good in that kitchen with that sweet cream paint. So I switched out whatever else I had intended to work on and got a little start on the Queen of Hearts. And yeah, this is going to look so good in my kitchen. Let's see, this is all done in Sampler Threads and Weeks Dye Works, the model, but I kitted it up in DMC and am really pleased with the colors in DMC. Just, yeah, this is another great Shakespeare's Peddler. Okay, then I'm pretty sure this was one I had. This was one I had and intended to start for Stitch Mania. I do think it got moved down a little bit, so now we're on day 11. And this is by my favorite Plum Street Samplers, Turkey Bay. And I've had this chart for a really long time. I think I got it right around Thanksgiving and didn't have time to work on it then. This is probably one of my top 10 favorite Plum Street Sampler charts. And I have a lot of Plum Street Samplers. I love that boat. I love the flowers and I love everything about this. And this is another one that I had a little bit of a hard time putting down. And now this was the 11th, which was the Friday before, 1 week to the day before festivities started for graduation. And I kept justifying my stitching and not getting things done. Anyway, got a good little start on just that middle section there, and yeah, so I also charted this in DMC just to keep things, keep my costs down, and the DMC colors are going to be just lovely and really pretty, and yeah, so that's a fun one. Okay, and then, so that was the 11th, and then we got to the 12th, and see, things are getting hairy because I do not remember working on this, but there are stitches in it, so clearly I did something. But right back to Plum Street Samplers. This was one I had and intended to start for Stitch Mania. Plum Street Samplers, Betsy's Stockings. They look like this, and if you remember, I showed it either in my first or second video ever. I did the Thanksgiving stockings, the they were pilgrims. There were two, and it was a man and a woman. And anyway, I love those. Still some of the favorite stitching I've ever done. So this is Betsy's Stockings, perfect for this time of year and 4th of July and red, white, and blue, and got a start on this. I'm shocked, but there's the start on, which stocking did I even start? Oh, I started the one with the little, this middle one here with the lady, and I started up here. So, gosh, this is something else I'd like to get back to. Yeah. All I need is time, folks. Okay. I have to go back and watch Kitten Stitchers' last video again because I was watching it while doing some other things and I didn't catch the whole of it. But she pulled out a chart that I said, oh, I have that chart. I just got that chart. It was one that I had seen. I think that Priscilla Blaine was stitching up and had this chart from eons ago. And I ordered it. I think I went to Etsy and ordered it, found it and ordered it, and started it. And then I watched, over the weekend, Teresa Vignette Kitten Stitchers video, and she pulled this exact chart out, and she has discovered that this is an unauthorized copy. This is a fraudulent chart, and because she showed and explained how she knew that it was, and mine is the exact same way, I realized that this is a fraudulent chart. So this is the Prairie Schooler book number 47, Santa Rides, and it looks like this. She talked about the fact that there was this, you can see that there was a sticker here, only this is smooth, so that's photocopy. You can also see, even though this is on hard, you know, like the original Prairie Schooler patterns, it's on a you know, heavier piece of cardstock, you can see lines over here from the print. I'm not sure what to do about this at this point. She has reported them, the seller, I believe, to the Prairie Schooler, the company, which I forget who the company is that owns the rights to these patterns. And I won't ever purchase from this particular seller on Etsy ever again. But I'm not sure, you know, I don't even know if I can finish. I don't know what to do, but I did start this unwittingly, unknowingly, and loving it. I mean, it's a beautiful, so I started the sailboat, the Santa Sails one. And yeah, so this is not an okay copy. I am not okay with, you know, owning a fraudulent photocopy of anything, and it's not right. It's not, yeah. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, guys. The whole thing just made me kind of sick to my stomach. Okay, so that was Santa Rides. That was the 13th, and then the 14th, the last day that I actually got current Stitch Mania stuff done, was Peanuts, and I did First Kiss. So this is Snoopy and Lucy, and I thought it was super cute. And this is a JCA, very, very old chart. A little hard to read. I blew it up, and it was just fine. And I got a really, really good start on Snoopy here. I'm doing this on just an old piece of, this is kind of a bluey fabric. It's more blue than it's showing up here, and I can't remember. It's from 123 Stitch. It's just a piece of kind of hard linen. But there's my start on Snoopy, and he's coming right along. And yeah, it was another one that I kind of had a hard time putting down because it was going really fast, and it won't take any time to get that one done. Okay, I'm going to end this video here, and then we're going to talk about some other things.